Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Grand
y'all.
Rising.
Grand
I
Rising
know.
indeed. Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are here live and if you're watching the replay, thanks so much as well. We always appreciate the energy. And if you don't know me, my name is Jake. I am a hypnotherapist and a quantum guide. I use hypnosis in my practice for a lot of different things, but mostly helping you connect with you, your inner wisdom, your higher self. And I'm joined by Corbin.
Hey everyone, my name is Corbin. I'm an astrologer. I practice ancient and Hellenistic techniques. Here today to break down the Scorpio new moon for everyone and to talk about all the retrogrades that are going on currently.
Wahoo. Yeah, it has been interesting energies. So definitely let us know how you're feeling and what's coming up for you. The moon is a little bit a ways next week, but I think we're probably already in the energies as we usually are, right? It's all interwoven. But we got a fun show for you today. Before we dive in, I do want to quick pop up and make a special announcement because
Woo!
Corbin's site is live.
Yeah,
Wahoo!
Pisces Portals is here. So my site, piscesportals.com, is up and live and everything. This will be a place where I'll offer both my astrology readings, but also all of the crafts and cosmic creations that Jake and I work on. And you can see on the page, there's some more information, and it'll take you over to my bookings.
Yeah, and if you want to find out more here, there is a bunch of great information around Corbin's work and how he works and what you can expect from a reading. So I definitely encourage you guys go check out the site, scroll around, check it out, read into it, and book yourself a reading because it's definitely worth it. I've had quite a few readings at this point, both formal and informal, and especially when we're in that formal container of a reading, it's just really special and has helped me immensely in my personal journey of discovery and awakening and all of that.
Offer both natal chart readings and some astro forecasting. If you're not super familiar with your chart, you're just kind of dabbling, beginning to learn what's going on with, the different houses. I'd love to help give you a great base for your own self-study. And then, of course, if you have anything coming up in the next few weeks, in the next few months, in the next year, if you're looking forward, that astro forecast is great for you to just talk about any topic that's coming up around the corner for you in depth and how that might unfold.
So yeah, I mean, I've been talking a lot about 2026 right around the corner with the need to really look at our future and start planning what we want to accomplish next year. What are those dreams, goals, ambitions that we have, hopes for the year? So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. And of course, if you want to book with me and you want a hypnosis journey, especially if the meditation today is enjoyable for you, head on over to my bookings page. You can book your own one-on-one. And then I've got that 10% off the future services for the month of November as well. All right. So before we dive into the full show today, wanted to do just a quick little attunement, take a few deep breaths together and center into this energy. So if you guys want to join me in that, I've got one of my high C angel tone tuning forks that I'm going to work with today. So if you guys want to just close your eyes, take a deep breath in and let it out. Taking a few more deep breaths in. Wonderful. I love working with the tuning forks. And of course, your breath as well always helps to just bring you down into your body for a moment. All right. So like we said, share with us what is coming up for you. And especially as we talk about the energies today, what resonates for you. Before we dive into the astrology, though, we have our crystal pick for the moon, which I think is a really good one. Do you want to explain a little bit about why we picked what we picked, Corbin?
Well, so just a reminder that we always like to intuitively select a crystal to work with for the lunar cycle. It isn't exactly like if you went into a book and read what Scorpio crystals are, or you went to the crystal shop and you were looking for Scorpio crystals. It's not exactly that. We take a time to soak in what's going on with the astrology and, Jake with the energies of the moment. And then just, kind of go for a more intuitive pick of sorts. So the stone that we both settled on this week is serpentine, which is a really super duper fun stone. Although some folks might know it as serpentinite if you're really into like
if you're a
minerals,
geologist.
a geologist. But we'll call it serpentine for today. So I'll go ahead and show a little bit of serpentine that we have. Jake, you want to share about?
Yeah, so serpentine is a great stone, especially for working with your Kundalini energy, your life force energy. So many of you are probably familiar with that imagery of the snake coiled at your root chakra. And when you awaken your Kundalini, that rises up to your crown. So if you're working with that energy, if you're working with building up that life force energy, that chi inside of you, or if you're working on activating your auric energy and enhancing your chi, serpentine is a great selection for that. My favorite use for serpentine is in meditation or in past life regression. So obviously the work that I do aligns wonderfully with serpentine, but it's a great stone for confronting and accepting and overcoming your past traumas. So whether you're working with the past in meditation on your own, or if you're doing a regression with me or with someone else, a great stone to work with.
And as I was showing it, hopefully the camera was able to pick up, there's just like a little bit of banding and striping that happens with serpentine. That's part of how it got its name, because it reminded folks of some of the banding and striping that would happen on snakes.
Really cool. Really cool. As you can imagine, with the green color, great for heart chakra as well, if you're working with your heart or with the root, because again, like that Kundalini energy. I found out recently, chatting with a friend who had gone on a trip to Mount Shasta, that serpentine is, I guess, one of the main rocks, the main minerals that you can find there, which is really fun. It is a more common mineral or a common composition, but Mount Shasta, I definitely have a draw to, and is really fun. So.
Yeah, and because serpentine is so abundant, you'll often find it under like a bunch of different names, kind of depending on where it came from. Serpentine from South America versus Washington State versus, a couple other places. They all kind of get their own localized names. Like we heard the phrase healerite. So there's a lot of ways that serpentine might be showing up in the market. Also, because it's so common, I think it's often used to like dupe and fake some other more rare and more valuable stones like jade. And so you might often find serpentine as like fake jade.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. But it makes sense. Jade is definitely rarer and more expensive. So you got some of those slippery folk out there using it. But grab yourself some serpentine if you don't have any. And of course, if you don't have some lying around the house and you aren't able to go pick some up, pick a Scorpio rock. I wore my little smoky quartz pendant. I feel like smoky quartz is a great pick for the Scorpio energy.
Well, I'm still wearing my Uperlite bracelet from a couple weeks ago. I've been wearing it ever since. So.
Uperlite forever. It's such a good stone. Such a good stone.
So yeah, serpentine, and especially too, as we're in a Scorpio new moon, thinking about opportunities to work on clearing shadow. Just the ways that Jake talked about serpentine being a great tool and an aid to work with any sort of traumas from the past to overcome and heal. If we think about like the archetypal energy of snake, right? That's one of our biggest like healers in the natural world, closely associated with, health and medical and stuff like that. So really love this guy.
Yeah. Really fun stone. Really fun stone. All right. Well, we've got some astrology for you. And also coming up is the meditation that I crafted for this moon, which really flowed out of me. So I'm excited to share that with you as well. So stay tuned for that. Corbin, you want to jump into it?
Sure. You can pull up the wheel.
Yeah.
So just as Jake's pulling up the wheel here, a lot has kind of changed in the astrology since the Taurus full moon. We're definitely in like a moment of retrogradation. Almost all of the planets, well, the ones that can be retrograde are, as a Hellenistic astrologer, I do most commonly look at the 7 traditional planets that would be visible by, eyesight if we were looking up at the sky. And so if we're thinking about like those traditional 7, well, the sun and the moon, they don't turn retrograde, but here's Mercury. Mercury's retrograde. Venus, okay, she's not. Mars isn't, but Jupiter just went retrograde. So Mercury and Jupiter going retrograde, that's kind of the big news inside of the last week. Curious in the chat if anyone wants to share, or down in the comments section, if you noticed any of those station retrogrades this past week. For Mercury, I'm really thinking about, the Virgos and the Geminis out there. For the Jupiter retrograde, definitely thinking about the Pisces and the Sagittarius out there. Anyways, Jupiter's retrograde, Saturn's retrograde, a bunch of the outer planets are retrograde too. So it's just, it's a moment of retrograde city. But at the same time, too, all of the water world that we've continued to have throughout the fall season, that's still in play here too. So there's really kind of 2 main signatures that are very eye-catching at this time: the number of retrogrades, and then just still all of the planets that are in the water signs. And so, this really allows us to kind of think about some broader themes about this moon just as a whole, especially as it relates to the retrogrades and water. This idea of receiving guidance or support, receiving healing, or receiving direction from inside, from our higher self, from source. There's this idea of restoring yourself, letting go and healing those wounds of, past traumas, whether they're related to, your family or how you grew up, or maybe a larger ancestral lineage. I know a lot of us light workers, work on clearing out traumas that are beyond just our own. And perhaps even restoring some beliefs and judgments that we might hold to a higher perspective. It's really time to let some of these things go and return. Here's another retrograde word: to return to the flow. And that's really what all of the water signatures are about. Adapting, changing, going with the season and all. So just as we're getting in, it's really a season and a moment to, reflect and reorient. The winter months here, the astrology that we have, I kind of see it as an interlude, or like a middle chapter in between what happened this past summer with everything that came into Aries and all the new initiation. We have all these retrogrades throughout the fall and winter, and next spring will kind of be like act 2 of that new initiatory energy that we had this past summer. So right now is kind of this like internal interlude to work on, anything internal and all things related to water. Jake, you're Pisces though. Did you notice anything inside of this week when Jupiter turned around? Anything that you've been noticing about the retrogrades?
Oh, I mean, I feel like my focus has definitely been drawn to like reviewing and reflecting on, and like redoing the ways that I approach how I move through the world, my daily routine, how I treat myself, especially. I mean, really, a lot of it comes down to like the emotions and like the way that I talk to myself inside, like the voice that I use to critique myself or to bully myself, or to, working on switching that and really catching that when I'm falling down that hole, so that I can treat myself better.
Yeah, that's great. I noticed when Jupiter turned retrograde just that I was really, really crabby. But I've talked about the energy of Jupiter in Cancer this summer being that of kind of like, it's Christ consciousness. It's like the silver lining over anything that's difficult that's happened recently. And when Jupiter has gone retrograde, that support from the universe isn't quite there as much, and you are needing to fill your own cup a little bit. But not to like hang out in the political sphere too much, but I really thought that it was um, really spot on how in the United States the government shutdown ended. Mercury retrograde. This is people changing position, changing stance, changing opinion. And so there was a group of politicians that, all of a sudden changed their opinion on the Mercury retrograde, changed their stance, and to buddy up with the Jupiter retrograde. And I'm not so involved in like the details of it, but it sounds like some healthcare things got kind of like stripped away when we think about Jupiter being, this healing energy, this archetypal energy. We could see how the retrograde, less healthcare, whether that's good or bad, who knows if the healthcare system is the proper thing. But, and then also the stripping away of the farm bill loophole. And so taking away, just the THC products that a bunch of people have been enjoying, have been using to have fun and pleasure. So I just kind of thought it was really interesting that one, all these people changed their position, and two, it was to take these things away that cause joy and pleasure, Jupiter. And so I thought that was really prominent in the world stage. Not that I want to talk about that too much, but it's interesting how you see the astrology living every single day. Okay, so what's like the big idea here? Let me know down in the chat too how you're just experiencing these retrogrades or noticing them in your life as they are beginning here. So big banner idea for this new moon. When I sit down and think about all the positioning, we're here at 28 Scorpio at the very end. Mercury just turned retrograde and has entered Scorpio at this time, and Uranus has entered Taurus retrograde as well too. And so when I think about this whole kind of composition of this new moon, one of the big things that came to mind was it's time to have a talk with your ego. I think that's one of our biggest lessons here that's going on right now. It's an important moment to take some quiet time to find a breakthrough in understanding and how to move forward in your mission. Like I mentioned, we're kind of in between this past summer and what's coming next spring. With Mars currently in Sagittarius, who is the ruler of this new moon, since Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, we're perhaps at this moment in time thinking about taking an easier route, taking a lighter route, taking some route that's a little bit more fun and a little bit more adventurous. It might be the idea of having like a final hoorah. But there really is a lot of internal work to be doing at this time. There's some shadow to clear and address. There's a lot of fat and excess to cut away to help you be prepared to move forward into that new initiatory period that's coming next spring. When I looked at the Sabian symbol for this one, and I won't go into it too much, but it definitely did talk about this concept of soul and ego coming together and having a conversation. And so that is also kind of what sparked this idea of time to have a talk with your ego. Again, here's Mercury and Uranus in a direct opposition here in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio representing our ego, our underworld, our unconscious mind, everything that's happening there. And from reflecting on the Sabian symbol, it just seemed like it was really important at this time to be understanding the ways that we might be going over the top, going overboard, a little bit too much, and bringing that into kind of like a proper amount. Both Taurus and Scorpio can help to, Taurus likes to have all of the indulgences and Scorpio likes to withhold and pull back and only have the right amount. And so there's this balance here of how much ego is appropriate to be driven to accomplish the things that I want inside of this lifetime versus when is my ego leading me astray and maybe asking me or pulling me towards something that isn't for my best and highest good. There's a lot of this season right now that is set up to help us understand the difference between those two things. So again, Mars in Sagittarius just might want to have a little bit more fun. Your ego might be calling you to the party, to go onto an adventure, to have a cheat day. Mars in Sagittarius is fired up, right? It's excited. But because it's in a Jupiter sign and Jupiter is now retrograde, it probably has some rose-colored glasses on. It might not be seeing like all sides of the coin right now. And again, that's just because Jupiter's condition just changed recently with it going retrograde. So again, everything's not so like lighthearted and surface. Mars is really driving us towards like we're like flies going towards this light right now. But the real message is so much deeper than that right now. So inside of the chart here, I want to animate. We have had a couple moments already. Oh, sugar babies, I'm on years. We've had a couple, it's Mercury retrograde. If not everything's in place, that's how it's supposed to be. So Mercury and Uranus, this is really what I'd like to begin to talk about now, because this is some of what's going on underneath the surface, what's going on in the waters that we need to be paying attention to and attuning into a little bit more than Mars running around with a drink in their hand. A few weeks before this, I'm going backwards in time, a few weeks before, just around Halloween, we had Mercury opposite Uranus at 0 of Sagittarius and Gemini. That was the first time that these two planets made their opposition inside of this year. Now, as they are both retrograde, they're meeting up again at this new moon. Inside of Taurus and Scorpio, and they will have a third pass again inside Taurus and Scorpio on December 10th. So this is kind of like a longer process that is going on with this, all these passes between Mercury and Uranus. A reminder that this energy can really bring a lot of information, insights, breakthroughs, a difference in understanding, the ability to see something from a different perspective. When we're at this second moment where the second opposition of the three that we will have, that's usually in the cycle where we begin to see things break down. So at the first opposition, you might, and around Halloween, you might have received some information. But now the wheels are coming off the bus. And it's really interesting that things have shifted into the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. It means that we might be seeing things breaking down inside of, the axis that deals with money, that deals with finances, that deals with resources. I find this to be really interesting, especially moving into the holiday season when people are doing all their holiday shopping and all that kind of stuff. And we have Mercury retrograde opposite Uranus and in Taurus. There's a lot of implications here around, money, resources, finances, how we're spending our time, energy, and resources. It seems like there's going to be some, delays, shifts, some reassessments that need to go there. And this is maybe why it's time to put the party down for a moment. One thing that I think is really important here, I love doing cycle work to get a deeper understanding of, what this means personally. And so I want everyone to kind of reflect on Uranus and Taurus here. Uranus first entered Taurus back in 2018. And since 2018, it has been electrifying, shocking, revolutionizing, changing a particular part in your chart. You've gone through your own little mini personal revolution since 2018. This moment where Uranus has retrograded back into Uranus, it's our final opportunity to solidify those changes or to make any of those changes that are needed to move forward. You won't have Uranus come back here. So it will be, I think it's really important to be reflecting on where Uranus and Taurus are inside of your chart right now, and just thinking back to 2018 to understand some of those shifts that are going on in your life. And so, Jake, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. 2018, what big things, shifts changed for you? And this could all very much be related to Taurus, to food, to leisure, to relationships. Can you help and share and reflect with everyone on this?
Yeah, well, like you said, we talked about this a bit before, and I think the biggest shift, the biggest change was you and I met, and that was quite a shift in resources and money in the ways that I had never been in necessarily a significant relationship where there was any sort of like real money sharing. And so that was tipped off in 2018. And I think the ways that we began to work together and the ways that my resources and my money shifted in our relationship, but then also my work shifted dramatically at that point because I left school, and I'm pretty sure that was right when I jumped into management. And so my leisure time, my work shifted, and beyond that, like the money shifted with that too. And then that's really continued to ramp up even more and more dramatically as I shifted out of management and began my hypnosis career. And we had talked about like the switch from physical to like a digital environment in the ways that I work on my computer much more now. I work in these digital spaces on YouTube, on social media, working with virtual clients on Zoom, which is very different than driving to my store every day to open the physical store up and work with people in real life.
Yeah. I mean, Uranus bringing in that digital element to things for sure. Yeah, I love that. Of course, when I was thinking about this, it's like, 2018, that's when you showed up, and that was a massive change in my life. And I have Taurus in my 5th house, and so that can be related to dating or courting or like romance, that kind of a thing, but also kind of other 5th house topics. 2017 was a really tough year. 2016 and 17 were really tough years for me. And I know that there were quite a few like things for fun and pleasure and joy that I didn't get to have in 16 and 17 that I did get to have in 18. In 2016 and 2017, I stopped studying astrology for a while. I put that aside. I also put aside a bunch of other of my hobbies like video games and stuff like that. And quit being a vegetarian, even though I had been a vegetarian. And then when 2018 came, I became a vegetarian again. I got back into astrology. I got back into playing with things that I like to play with, and 5th house, expressing myself how I wanted to authentically express myself. And so there's something about what's happening right now with the Mercury Uranus oppositions that are happening right at the final degrees of Taurus and Scorpio that are asking us to see the higher truth and the bigger purpose for all of these changes, and asking you to work on integrating these and taking these things forward. That which you have developed inside of Uranus in Taurus is something that you're actually meant to share with others as Uranus moves inside of Gemini. Just as Jake was talking about, going online, starting to share information about hypnosis, sharing clients in a digital space, that's really where we're to be taking this energy. If you don't know how you're using what you've kind of grown, rather, stop since 2018, because the Uranus energy is never like kind of like a through line. It is very, I can think of times that I would sit down and, build a website in just a few hours, and then months and months and months of not being able to sit down and work. That's kind of Uranus energy. And so again, we have a couple moments here right now, and then in December 10th, to really be thinking about how we're going to take all these new things that came inside of Uranus and Taurus and bring that forward. Right, cool. So yeah, set your intention on how you kind of want to use this Uranus energy moving forward. Well, what else do we got in our water world? So, that's the intense stuff that's happening over here in Scorpio. Of course, the opposition to Uranus is a big darn deal, but we still have a couple other planets, not a couple, a lot of other planets hanging out in the water signs. Real briefly, because I know that Jake said that is a little bit of a longer activation. I do want to talk about how we have Saturn and Neptune coming together here. Some of the retrogrades will begin to turn around because Saturn stations direct inside of this lunar cycle. So before we get to our next full moon, Saturn's going to go direct. That's really exciting. But because we still have these two planets together at the end of Pisces, a reminder that this is still a chapter of a big karmic closures. When I talked about earlier about cutting out the excess, there's still a lot to be shed, to be let go of. This really speaks to some fated and karmic endings that, you signed up for inside of this lifetime. A reminder, it's next to the North Node. So this is just pushing you further on your mission, on your spiritual path. This could be a moment of some big spiritual lessons, some closures around those spiritual lessons. I know Saturn has been in Pisces for the last 3 years or so. In the post-pandemic world, I think many folks have reassessed their relationship to spirituality. That has absolutely been a part of this transit here. These are some of those last kind of breakthrough and aha moments to really give you a new spiritual foundation to move forward into 2026 and beyond. There'll be a lot new curveballs that the universe will be throwing us. And so to have this new spiritual base is very important. But this also speaks to an instance of needing to have a new, stronger emotional base to Pisces and all of the water signs, talking about how we deal and process with emotions. But you might need to, provide more care and compassion to others, to come from a higher place of love that is unconditional, to help those who are suffering. Pisces being one of the signs that's deeply involved in service and helping others. This might be healing your own wounds or going beyond your own wounds to help someone else who is in need, and really requiring this emotional maturity. That perhaps comes from a deeper seated sense of spirituality. And I would think, take those two things, right? Spirit and emotion. And we'll hit the final big thing with Pisces here, that creativity, because this is allowing and asking us to be able to step into being a more pure channel for source, to creatively express the divine beauty of nature, of yourself, of the song of your soul. And as a reminder, when these two step into Aries at the end of next February, it's about taking all of this that we've been working on and bringing it out into the world. So again, we are in like an interlude phase, but we're gearing up for the second act next February. It's time to trust and believe in and be led by our emotional wisdom as we move forward at this time. And once again, with Saturn being the first planet to turn direct just in about a week and a half here, really being led by our emotions and our intuitive guidance will be a nice foundation moving forward. It should not be that external kind of thing. We've been talking about this for a few months now, that the guidance is to come internal. And with Saturn stationing direct first in just a couple weeks here, that's really another key marker of like it's coming from inside. And then real briefly, a new reality is born. Saturn and Jupiter, they're in a degree-based trine right now. This is kind of the best ways that we could look at these two planets. In cycle work, we talk about both Jupiter and Saturn coming together to create the new structures of our reality. If anyone remembers back in 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn met for their grand conjunction right around Christmas, at 0 Aquarius, everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's, the age of Aquarius, how exciting. And, people were talking about that as like a key marker of, the beginning of a new phase. Well, they've moved forward since then. 5 years later, they're in a trine. And so they're working really well together to help, usher in and create that structure of that new era. And again, this is really being led by emotion, healing the emotional past, clearing up that trauma and that baggage so that we can move forward. So yeah, that just continues to kind of come up in a lot of ways. Um, so yes, there's a ton of planets that are retrograde right now. It might not feel like the easiest energies to move forward through. Yes, there's still a ton of water right now, but again, it's a perfect time to go inside to rearrange what's going on in your inner world. You're going to need that solid base to move forward from as we move into next year, as all of the outer planets move back into the air and fire signs in which they'll be in 2026 and beyond. So yeah, I hope everyone has just a lovely Scorpio new moon, taking the time to go inside. It's so needed at this time. We got a couple months here to kind of wrap up some big shadow work, to clear out some traumas, to really focus on self. And then we're all going to be called to get back on the stage and get back on mission in a much, more active kind of way, starting just at the beginning of next year.
Exciting stuff. It's interesting that you're talking about, all of that, like emotional, like dealing with the emotional past, the emotional triggers, the emotional hangups that you have, because I've definitely seen that with a lot of my clients lately, of their higher self really bringing them to that realization, to that point of like, no, like this isn't serving you anymore. You need to not only address it and acknowledge it, but you need to make that choice to move past it. And your higher self can certainly help you with that. Like, they want to assist you in that work, but sometimes we think that this external savior, and sometimes we think it's going to come in the form of our higher self, is going to come in and swoop in and make it all happen. And we forget our own part in it, our own part to play. And I think that these moments of like quiet, our world, our society, like doesn't really believe in those. There's like this blind forward motion, like we must always have forward progress. Like,
you mean no one's going on social media and saying, I did so much shadow work today, guys? I mean, maybe someone is.
I mean, some people are,
do, but...
some people do, but generally the mainstream idea, the mainstream mentality around it really is like, you must always be progressing. You must always be productive. You must always be, moving forward. And I think it's hard for us, many of us who are, called to do the shadow work, to really listen to that, rather than this idea that we're needing to always be productive, always be moving.
Yeah. I mean, and just to piggyback off what Jake is saying, like, this new moon is such like a billboard message for like, now is the time to address the shadow. Like, if the Mercury Uranus thing wasn't like super clear, like I just have to like double underline and bolden that one. When I started looking at, the moons for this year, it's just uncanny the ways that planets can speed up or slow down and just get into a position at a right moment in time. And both Uranus and Mercury really did that in a big, big way here. It is time to address the shadow. It is time to clear it. As Jupiter's moved through Cancer this year since June, some of those emotional traumas may have come up for you to kind of just see them. Now that Jupiter is retrograde, it really is the time to be processing and healing and transmuting that. A reminder that Cancer, out of all of the water signs, has a procedure for dealing with emotion. there's like a set way of working through and transmuting that inside of Cancer. And so this one is really about going on that healing process journey. And who cares if you did that last year, 5 years ago, 2 months ago? There's always more to kind of heal and clear. So just as you were kind of saying, it's like, well, yeah, even highly spiritual people or people that have been in this lane for a long time need a moment to go back and to continue to, clear the next level of shadow.
Yeah. And that idea I was really reminded of as I was writing this meditation of like, it's not about, we're always in a constant unfolding. We're always peeling back those layers. And I think one of the biggest fallacies that we can fall into, right, is that we've healed everything, that we've finished, that we're totally done. And of course there can be those things that we are meant to be done with, right? But even then there can be those echoes, those opportunities to continue to choose that new way of being, because it's all a part of that cycle, that cyclical progress through things. But anyway,
cool. Well, I tried to be brief to give space for your
you
activation.
did. I love it.
So
I love it. Thank you so much. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Lisa, saw you hop into the chat. Good to see you. And thank you everyone else who's joined us live. It's good to have your energy here with us. We are going to hop into the meditation now, the little activation that I've got for you. And this is really meant to help you work with these energies. So I encourage you, get yourself into a comfortable position. You can sit up or lie down. I'm a lay down meditator, but do what makes you comfortable. And just allowing yourself to settle into this moment. And feel free to come back to this meditation as well if you need to. Of course, if you're driving or, cooking or something like that, focus on what you're doing. But otherwise, settling in and just allowing your eyes to close. Allowing your breath to begin to slow down. Settling into this moment. Another deep breath in. And letting it out again. And just beginning to focus on the top of your head, right up at your crown. And allowing relaxation to flow through your body. Starting at the crown of your head, moving like a wave down your forehead, your face, softening all those muscles in your forehead and around your eyes. That relaxation flowing down into your jaw, softening, relaxing, letting any tension go. Flowing down into your neck, and your shoulders. Just letting any tightness go as that relaxation flows through your body. Flowing down into your arms, down into your hands and out your fingers, feeling your arms growing heavy as you relax and you let any tightness go. And that relaxation moving down into your chest and your back, flowing down your spine, down into your belly. Feeling all those muscles letting go and relaxing. And that relaxation like a wave washing down your hips, down down your legs, past your thighs, your knees, down past your ankles into your feet, letting any tension, any tightness flow right out your toes. Feeling so relaxed, so calm, nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Now I'd like you to imagine standing on a calm, pebbly beach, looking out over the soft, gray-blue waters, stretched out as far as you can see. You can feel those pebbles under your feet, smooth and cool. And the sun is peeking out from between some fluffy clouds up above. You notice a few birds flying there through the air, hearing their calls echoing around. And there's some wisps of fog hanging in the air around the beach, and you can feel a crisp, gentle sea breeze blowing, rustling your hair, and bringing that smell of salt. You look around this beautiful beach and you notice a bit of driftwood here and there. And it's so very quiet, except for the sounds of nature around you. It's calm here and you feel so at peace. And there's a tall rock face stretching up behind you, and this serene, peaceful beach stretching out to either side. It's as if you have your own personal sanctuary here. You can hear the waves as they gently lap against the shore, and you take a few steps towards the edge of the water. And as you do, you see a jet of water shoot into the air, and then another. You hear the slap on the water, and you notice a flash of a dark fin. And suddenly, a giant whale leaps out of the water and lands with a splash. You can feel a smile stretching across your face as you feel that love and joy from the whales who've revealed themselves to you. You can feel a call to join them on a dive into the depths. You feel them beckoning to you, and you know that it's time. It's time to release the old and orient yourself to the new. It's time to release any last vestiges of the old programs and beliefs and paradigms that you've been holding. It's time to allow yourself to tune into the frequency of your new reality. You know somehow that the quiet of the depths will help you to see and understand the deepest parts of you. You know that your higher self is calling to you, calling you to address and acknowledge those shadowy parts of you that you may be embarrassed or ashamed of, the parts that your higher self is calling you to acknowledge, integrate, and heal in a whole new way. You're ready. You know it. And you can feel it. And you notice right there on the edge of the water, there's a small craft floating right there at the edge of the shore. And as you gaze at it, you notice it's golden, it's shining and shimmering. And as you step closer, a door opens on the side. There's a soft, gentle golden light streaming out from within, and you can feel the energy of Source, the energy of your higher self emanating from this craft. And as you settle in, or when you're ready, climbing inside that craft and settling yourself into the comfortable cushions, lining the seats in this magical craft, making yourself comfortable as the door gently closes and the craft begins to glide out over the water towards the whales still swimming, waiting for you. And as the craft moves closer to the whales, it gently and smoothly slips under the waves. And now you can see those beautiful creatures, the whales, these beings swimming and dancing together up ahead of you. And now you can hear their beautiful songs bouncing through the water. Not only can you hear, but you can feel their beautiful notes too, vibrating through your being, through the walls of that craft, all the way into you. It's such a wonderful feeling. Now that you've joined the pod, the whales begin to move, and one by one, they break the surface, taking in some air and then beginning their descent down and down into the depths. And you feel safe and secure in your cozy interior, this golden craft. Begin to descend along with your guides. These whales, these beings are masters of multidimensionality, powerful grid workers, energy workers, and sound healers. And the whales are also experts at navigating the dark depths and the powerful pressures of shadow work, allowing them to support and guide you today, along with your higher self, who is supporting you and steering your craft today. And diving deeper still, deeper and deeper, thinking about what it is that you're ready to be done with. You've already completed so much of this work, and now it's time for the next level, the next unfolding of your fractal of life. Now you can feel the craft slowing down and stopping. You can see the whales beginning to circle around you, dancing and spinning through the water as they weave energy and intention, providing you a grid of protection and support. You can feel the presence of your higher self with you, like golden light all around, assisting you in this release. You know that you don't have to have all of the answers. You don't have to understand every detail of what you're releasing or how. Trusting in your higher self and trusting in your guides to help. So when you're ready, taking a deep breath in And letting it out with the sigh. Feeling that release in your body, in your energy. You may see something or feel something else as you let go of that belief, that habit or pattern. Taking more deep breaths if you need, feeling that golden light within your craft shining even brighter. Seeing it illuminating the waters and the whales around you. That golden light shining brightly. You know that you're ready for what comes next. That new way, that new pattern, that new inspiration, or new direction. And you notice a new sense of lightness within you, of freedom. And feeling lighter, feeling open. You can sense that the whales have something else to show you. It's a gift. They wish to show you and share with you their navigational skills, their energy awareness, so that you can orient yourself to the best direction, so that you can find your way like they do, in harmony with Gaia and the energy grid of the earth and the cosmos. You can feel them sending you this information, sharing their awareness with you so that you can remember your own connection, your own innate awareness of the energies around you. Just being open now to receive that which is for your best and highest good, only that which is for your best and highest good. And noticing how that feels. Noticing any insights, downloads, or knowings that are coming to you. Just noticing what's coming up, what you're experiencing as you awaken more of your own energetic awareness. As the whales share with you gently. Noticing now if there are any messages meant for you from the whales, from your higher self. Just allowing yourself to receive, knowing that you're safe and protected, and knowing that you are a sovereign being of light. And now taking a few more deep breaths. Breathing in that integration. Just soaking it all in. All right, now feeling that energy stream slowing down. The whales beginning to slow their dance. Now starting to slowly swim upwards, swimming up and up. And that golden light softens as your craft begins to rise as well, higher and higher. Rising back up towards the surface of the water, going up and up and up until you break through the surface of the water, and on all sides the whales breach as well, a few jumping up and crashing back to the surface. the waves like ripples of laughter, and you can feel the joy. And now your craft begins to slowly move back towards the shore, the whales following as far as they can. And now your craft is back at the beach. The door opens slowly and you step out, back once more, feeling those smooth, cool pebbles beneath your feet. And now you can feel the earth in a new way. You can feel her pulse, her energy through your soles. Focusing on Gaia beneath your feet, feeling this new awareness, grounding you and anchoring you. Feeling that support from Gaia. You can see where you're headed now. You may not have all of the answers or details, but you know it and you feel it. The gift of the whales has awakened more of your own awareness and connection to the energies around you. So taking one last moment here to focus on that gratitude within you, sending that vibration to Gaia, to the whales, and to your higher self. All right. Now drifting gently back to the present moment. Drifting and floating back to the present, back to here and now, back to your physical body. Coming back very gently and smoothly here to the present, to your physical. And coming back as I count from 1 to 5. So getting ready to come back to the here and now, bringing with you that beautiful peace and that connection to the cosmos. 1 and 2. You can start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, taking a deep breath. 3 and 4. Feeling your breathing return to normal, maybe taking a bit of a stretch. And 1, opening your eyes when you're ready, fully back here in the present moment, in your physical body, feeling wonderful.
Thank you, Jake. That was a wonderful meditation. I'll definitely come back and do that though when I'm not, actively live.
Oh yeah, I mean, being on camera while meditating is a little bit of a different experience.
Yeah, sometimes. Although when the whales breached, then I definitely had that moment of joy and laughter and just kind of like, oh, a whale appeared.
Yeah. I was feeling their presence. I was feeling fun. Them wanting to engage with us and support with us, and didn't really know where that meditation was going to go when I started it. But...
Oh, and it's great because I think you were writing your meditation while I was working on my notes and everything, and there were many moments throughout there where I was like, yeah, we're on the same page. I mean, it was just really back to what I said at the beginning about all the retrogrades plus all the water right now, really meaning this is a moment to receive guidance, receive support, receive healing, receive direction from inside, to restore yourself, to let go of the wounds, to everything that we did with the whales, and then return to the flow. And you said feel the earth in a different kind of way now, and that's exactly what this moment in time is about. So that was a really wonderful activation.
Wonderful.
Super aligned.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you, Lisa, for joining us in the chat, and thank you everyone who stayed for the meditation. I hope that was beneficial for you, and I'm going to do my best to get the timestamps in there as well for those folks who will be joining the replay. Other than that, though, definitely let us know what came up for you, what you were called to release with that, or how you're feeling as far as the energies of this moon go.
And if the Jupiter retrograde is really bringing up the things from the past, since it's inside of Cancer and really can have that emotional response, make sure you're grabbing that serpentine again, a wonderful crystal tool to help kind of transmute and change some of that, heal some of the energy from the past. Reminder that my site, Pisces Portals, is now live. You can hop over there for more information about some of my astrology readings and services, as well as some of the cosmic crafts that Jake and I make in our spare time. You can also, hop over to the bookings page, nail chart readings, astro forecast, all that good stuff for you. Jake, you got 10% off this month on all the future services. So if you're looking to enjoy any sort of future visioning, come see Jake at 10% off. That also stays on the QHHT. Gratitude gathering at the end of the month.
Yeah.
The couple days after Thanksgiving, come hang out, have fun with your regular family, your bio family, but then come hang out with us, your soul family, on the Saturday, the 29th at 6 p.m. Central. This is a free event for the community. Just make sure that you head over, though, and grab your ticket. We look forward to having a lot of fun and merriment with everyone. Just after the holiday.
Yeah, exactly. Really wanted to give this space for us to get together. And I think that the idea of focusing on gratitude is always a good idea. So make sure you grab your ticket, sign up for that. It is free, but you'll get the Zoom link as you sign up there. So I encourage you to do that. And of course, reach out if you have any questions or thoughts, or if you want to book a one-on-one. All right, guys, sending you all the love, and we appreciate you spending the morning with us or whatever time of day you're watching this replay. Hope that this information has been helpful for you. And yeah, we'll see you this next week. I got a couple shows going on, and then we'll be back with you for Lunar Cycles in a couple weeks for the full moon. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Love y'all.